This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. We're also a part of the Hockey Podcast Network, THPN. Thank you so much, Dylan and Kyle, coming out of Vancouver, British Columbia, for having me on board that awesome network. I really appreciate you. And, well, here we are. My voice is better. But other frustrating things, like why can't we have nice things? Yeah. Why can't we have healthy players? Why can't the U.S. win the Four Nations Cup? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's just, I don't know. Why can't other personal things go better? Yeah, I'll just leave that where it is. I just don't know. It's I'm not sure. But the Minnesota Wild, why can't they win at home? Yeah, I don't know. They go have a nice... It's reciprocals again. I don't know. Should I call this episode reciprocals? You know I had one a while back. It's definitely reciprocals. So the Minnesota Wild fall down early on the road on a matinee game, which used to spell lost like a million times, and they come back and win in amazing fashion. They take an early lead, a 2-0 lead. I know, the most dangerous lead in hockey. We've heard that a billion times. At home, okay, maybe we're going to sweep this Detroit thing. Yeah, sure we are. We're at home, remember? Wild don't know what winning at home means. They don't have a clue. They just don't. It's kind of like the Vikings in the postseason at home. Oops, we forgot to play. Yeah, you sure did. Or the Vikings in the postseason in general. And they blew that one. So the Minnesota Wild split the little Detroit dealie. All right. Well, I know I know I say this probably every episode lately, and I'm trying to help the show evolve into being a little more topical versus just game reviewy. Even though, yes, there's always going to be some game reviews. I mean, this show has its identity. It is what it is. I'm not going to, change the whole thing. I'm not going to be like the New York Islanders and completely change their logo years ago and everything, basically, or the Buffalo Sabres. Because, you know what? The original is usually the best. Usually. For me, it often is. Like Buffalo Sabres, I'll take the older look. I'll take the Islanders look right now. It's way better. Yeah, I just will. Yeah, but podcasts, radio shows, whatever, I mean, they're always going to evolve a bit. Some shows never change, where they just, have one segment. They have two segments with a guest. They BS the whole first segment. And the next segment, okay, let's talk about something somewhat interesting for the listener, rather than BSing around about taking your kid to karate class and hip-hop dancing. I'd rather cut my toenails than listen to that. Seriously. Anyhow, yeah, I'm in a mood a little bit, but I'm going to do my best. Yes, do you blame me? But no, at least I'm back. I'm not as rusty as you might think I am. Maybe I'm more refreshed in a way. And again, had other personal things going on last week as well. I was going to do a show, and then it's like, it's not really absolutely necessary, even though it would have been nice to talk about the whole Four Nations Cup, but the championship game hadn't happened yet. Like, that whole story changed dramatically once it reached overtime. Whatever. Yep. And, yes. The personal thing, well, the good news is it all worked out in the end. So the one personal thing worked out in the end. The other, well, I'm just not going to talk about it at all. The fender bender thing, yeah, worked out okay in the end. Praise the Lord for, let's just say praise the Lord for my nephews, just in case they're listening. Great job. They kind of came in and saved the day, like they did back in the summer when I had the alternator go out on me. So, and a battery that was 10 years old, and that's just, yeah. unthinkable. So that's back in the summer. Sorry about the personal stuff. No karate class or hip hop dancing conversation. So at least I didn't get into any of that nonsense. Yeah, never will. Yeah, the Minnesota Wild again. The not back-to-back games, but playing the same team twice in a row, basically on the road at home. And of course the topics. So where do we go from here? Other than Marco Rossi, wonderful week, obviously a factor in everything, entertaining, this and that. So we're going to wrap up the month of February already. 2 games to review, 4 games to preview, and I'll try not to babble too much in the previews, and I will get into the topics really quick. I'll do the reviews very fast here, at least try to. The Detroit game, again, felt like the Wild were going to lose. Alex DeBrincat, pretty nice goal, I'd have to say. It was but terrible play by JoJo. Just he recovered the puck, and then DeBrincat just took it right from him, like, get out of my way. Get out of here, basically. And he put it in for his 25th goal of the year, the former Chicago Blackhawk. I'm sure they'd like to have him right now. Detroit's a weird team, too, where it's like, why aren't they a little better? But they've certainly gotten better since Sugar High himself, Todd McClellan, took over. Every time Todd McClellan takes over a team, they look really good for a year or two. And then later on, it's like, okay, come on. When are you going to take the next step? Come on. And they just don't. But it's just always been that way with Todd McClellan. Though he did have some good years, obviously. So anyhow, DeBrincat, that was a good play and everything, but partially a terrible play by Marcus Johansson. Though he did wind up with 2 assists and he was a factor in the comeback. So I guess no, what do you call it for him? No James Shepard Memorial Popcorn Maker, whatever you call it, for him. And no, I did not copy Derek's show. I've been saying James Shepard Memorial for over a decade now, or something like a decade. It's been a while, like 2015-ish, 2016. So I did not copy anybody. The Popcorn Maker came out of there, so but not the James Shepard Memorial. That was, I promise, that was mine many years ago. I don't copy people. I try not to. Joel Eriksson Ek, well, yeah, we're going to talk about him in a minute, but he was a factor in this one. Nice little lead pass after stealing the puck away or intercepting the puck in overtime with a nice lead up to Marco Rossi, who fanned on the shot and then recovered and scored by God's grace, literally. And Rossi was like, it went in? Well, all right, it went in. And it looked like he was more like saluting with his stick than celebrating a goal for a while there. It's kind of funny. It was cool. It was awesome. A nice comeback after it felt like the Wild didn't really have much of a chance in this one. Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond factoring in on the 3 goals for Detroit. The Minnesota Wild ended up winning 4-3 in overtime. Yes. Matt Boldy with a goal and an assist. Rossi with 2 points. Marcus Johansson, again, 2 assists. The other Marcus, Foligno, scored to tie it up, and he was going crazy, very excited, and good for him. That was awesome. Vino Hinostroza also scored in his, am I blanking or what? I think this is his first game with the Wild, or second game with the Wild. So scoring again, back-to-back games. He wants to stay in the National Hockey League. 5 shots on goal for Vino Hinostroza. And I don't blame him for wanting to stay in the National Hockey League. I mean, I'd rather be there than in the, making AHL money. I'd rather be making that National Hockey League check, whatever it is. So definitely a good deal for him and good on him. Nice to see. This is, of course, again, after all the Olympic stuff. So maybe I'll get into that right now, real quick, before I start talking about Detroit. Also, Kaprizov, this is all before they started playing Detroit. The Kaprizov injury, well, I guess it's probably going to take longer, possibly up until March-ish. Some people think it could even linger all the way up until the postseason, which is kind of sad. Mr. Bill Guerin breaking the news saying that, it's probably going to be longer. That kind of sucks. Joel Eriksson Ek, well, they said week to week, and then Russo reported that it's probably more like a 6 to 8 weeks, which again sounds like a broken bone. More than likely, they said talking about like blocking a shot, so it sounds like a broken bone in the foot, like Zach Parise years ago. And I believe Ek had the same thing a couple years ago, right in time for the postseason. Just perfect timing when the Wild were going to play the Dallas Stars. As every damn year the Wild go into the playoffs, hopefully except for this one. As long as a ghost doesn't knock on wood after me, like in a certain podcast. Scary. Right in time. Just pray to God that it's not another important player going out just in time for the postseason. as it tends to be almost tradition around these parts, just like the Wild losing home games in the playoffs. And this year we've extended that into the regular season despite having a phenomenal road record. Brock Faber did lead the Americans in time on ice in the Four Nations tournament. Again, a frustrating overtime loss to Canada. And again, this is a reciprocal as well, as the U.S. beat Canada in Montreal right after the... I know it's kind of old news now. That's why I could have gone on the last episode. But right after the national anthem was booed by Canadians. And I don't know. I just don't think that's necessary to do. I just don't. I mean, you can have your political opinions. Fine. Have your political opinions. But don't boo national anthems. Just stop it. That's BS. So those of you that thought that that's totally fine. And
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
it's cool. I think you're flawed. I think you're wrong. I do. And I was happy with what... I was happy seeing the grit of the team after that. Maybe not the fighting necessarily. It's cool for a point, but not if it's like overdone. But nice to see the patriotism by the Chucks. Appreciate that. I know they are patriotic, and I appreciate them very much for that, and hope to see them win the gold medal next year as we head into the Winter Olympics, where I will be reviewing ice hockey for the NES. I'm already announcing that a year in advance because, well, of course, ice hockey ice hockey has an Olympic vibe. It's U.S., Canada, Russia, well, USSR, Soviet Union, whatever it was, Czech Republic. That's a tough one, or Czechoslovakia, it still was called. Excuse me, I believe, something like that. It was just called Czech anyway. Very tough team on there. I believe Finland and Sweden's on there, not Finland. But I'll play that next year. I'll do a game review for it just in time for that. Back to Canada, though. I don't know. We're happy for him. Connor McDavid scored the game-winning goal just like Sidney Crosby did in the gold medal overtime years ago. Of course he did. Yep. Well, and that was right about before I think the Pittsburgh Penguins started winning Stanley Cups again. And I would not be surprised if my prediction is correct, going all the way back to June, saying that Edmonton wins the Cup this year. Started off terribly, kind of like they did last year. They look like one of the best teams in the league now, even though they've not been playing so great just recently. But the Edmonton Oilers' chances of winning the Cup and ending the Canadian drought look pretty good. Certainly far from a guarantee, as we know. Everything can change very quickly once the postseason starts. Edmonton might be out in the first round, and they might crush everybody. Who knows? Fans giggling and applauding Canada's beating the U.S. I got two words for you. Well, I could put the F word in front, but I'll just say screw you. You know what I mean? You're applauding Canada beating the U.S. Screw you. Sorry. And when I put up the ice hockey, because I played it, I was playing against Canada, and I kicked their butts. What was it, 14-6 or something like that? And I said, revenge, got him. That was cool, And it was partially just for fun, and nobody liked it. What's wrong with you people? Are you that? What's wrong? Are you that, uptight about politics that you got to be like that? So I was not impressed that pretty much nobody liked it. So I'm not impressed with that at all. I don't know. I mean, you don't have to like it, but for crying out loud, geez. I mean, you're that, go Canada, screw the U.S. because you don't like the politics here? I didn't like the politics too much either the last 4 years. Oh, whoops, I let the cat out of the bag. I didn't that much. But I didn't boo the U.S., and I didn't, go off on my opinions constantly either. I just let it go. Which is, you know what I mean? Anyhow, but I guess people are different. I don't know. Anyhow, Rossi just keeps getting better and better off of that right away. That's as political as I'm going to get. Rossi just keeps getting better and better. He's been very impressive, obviously, and nice to see him kind of taking kind of in a way taking the lead, taking ownership, so to speak, and Matt Boldy as well, kind of doing the same a bit. Nice to see that, as Matt Boldy at times would disappear, like Charlie Coyle often did. Casper, the friendly center, Charlie Coyle, and Boldy, the friendly, the friendly forward. So luckily that's starting to come around. Nice to see those guys stepping up. Bummer that the Wild couldn't at least squeak out a point versus Detroit in the home loss, but that's kind of how that goes. Detroit managed to squeak out a point, though, so technically they would have won the series in a 3-2 basically in the series in points if such a thing existed. But well, this isn't college hockey, so we'll move on from that as well. But I got I got that off my chest. My frustrations with some of the attitude locally. I don't understand you. Patrick Rossi, what a jerk. God, that guy, yeah, I'll just leave that as is. What a jerk. Yeah, I like when he talks sports, but not when he just gets trolly. Let's just leave it where it is. Ryan Hartman's suspension was reduced to 8 games. Woohoo, good for him. I'm not a fan. Haven't been for a while. I don't hate him. Good for him when he plays well. Screw him when he acts like that. Screw him when he acts like Matt Cook, because he basically is the same player at this point, in my opinion. So that's kind of how I feel about all of that. And people, it should have never been suspended in the first place. Oh, okay, sure. I'll just smash someone's head into the floor too at work and see what happens. Probably be arrested and thrown in jail. So I mean, yeah, believe me, I think a lot of people have wanted to do that, but you don't do it. The thought crosses your mind for about 0.1 seconds, sir, like Data might say. 0.1 seconds. And you move on. Yeah, you're mad as hell, but you don't act out on it. Yeah, that would be a good idea, in my humble opinion. Detroit game number 2, we'll just kind of backtrack a little bit. Yeah, I know. It's a freaking loss at home, because winning at home seems to be foreign around here. Sons of biscuits. Detroit does have a pretty cool roster for the most part. I mean, Vladimir Tarasenko, 9th goal of the season. Hey, there is a Casper, Marco Casper. I know, on Detroit, sorry. This is after Rossi got his 22nd goal of the season. 22 goals, and he's a 50-point guy. What is he, the 3rd Austrian in NHL history to score 50 points, where Vanek made it 9 times, and of course he played for Minnesota and was a gopher and scored the championship-clinching go-ahead goal against New Hampshire way back in 2003, not 2023 or anything. No, 2023 would have been the anniversary and celebrating a 20-year anniversary with the program's 6th championship, but unfortunately that just didn't happen, much to my chagrin. Believe me, I was upset about that. Did a show right afterward. Yep. Jacob Lauko coming off the injured list, so that's wonderful. Great to have him, injured reserve, excuse me. So nice to see him scoring his 3rd goal. It was kind of similar to Rossi's in a way, where it's like, oh, okay, it went in. All right, cool. And then Tarasenko was able to get his 9th goal of the year. Woohoo, good for him. Simon Edvinsson, scoring from, he scored from Grand Rapids, or from, I don't know, Flint? I don't know. What the heck? What the heck? That was the weirdest goal ever. The puck looked like it just kept kind of going up, and yeah, this was literally from like center ice, basically, putting the puck on net. Good for you, Simon. Put the puck on net, I mean, Stanley Cups have been won that way, believe it or not. Or it was like, game-changing moment where Chicago ended up blowing a lead and losing to, I can't remember who beat them. It was Montreal way back in the day when the Blackhawks had a chance to win a cup. Dan Barrero talked about it a few times on KFAN. Where somebody, was it Lemaire, just kind of put the puck on net from center ice, what the heck, and it went in. It's like, oh crap. This one was a game tire. Gustafsson basically misjudged it. It just kind of kept going up. The puck kept raising, and then it just went in. It was like goofy, but that's how it goes. Bull crap. The second one, I'm not sure if Gustafsson was screened or what the heck happened. Another weird error here by Yahoo, where Evanston has 7 goals, not 8. So it went from 6 to 8. There it is. Good for him. With basically midway through the 3rd period, and the Wild could not get through after that. Gustafsson only faced 16 shots. They gave up 3 goals, including 2 not-so-good ones. far away on both of them. Not as far on the second one, but he may have been screened. I don't know if he just misjudged it. The Wild only managed 24 shots on goal and ended up losing to Cam Talbot. So Talbot's revenge. Shoot, sounds like a train might be coming, but I don't hear any honking. Maybe it's just somebody driving on one of those those pickup trucks with the train wheels. I don't know. God, it's beautiful outside, isn't it? Oh, there it comes. That's Marcus Foligno as he headed over to the appeared to be Wild fans, like with pretty good seats in Detroit to tie the game up. So yeah, we're gonna get through this quick. Yeah, we know. Okay, well that part's over. Okay, I didn't have to like pause or anything. Oh boy, yep, lost to the Detroit Red Wings. So the Lone Wolf, the Mike Madonna Award is going to Marco Rossi, the third Austrian in NHL history to score 50 points in a season again, and that's freaking awesome. He is absolutely on the right track. You're not hearing trade talk with Marco Rossi as much. Yeah, it's a lot of noise. I do have the window open because it's absolutely gorgeous out. Just gorgeous. It really is. It's awesome when spring starts to come instead of being below zero like last week. Come on, Marco. Load up. Yep, 50 points, 21 goals, 29 assists, and absolutely wonderful to see the progress of Marco Rossi's career. Okay, you can go away now, you dang train. Too much. Okay, the son of a gun finally left. Any other topics at the moment? Well, I talked about Rossi, I talked about Hardman, Faber leading the Four Nations time on ice. Again, frustrating loss to Canada. I got all that frustration off my chest. So now it's pretty much prospect talk coming up, and of course the previews of the upcoming games. So yes, the first segment probably will be a little shorter when it's only 2 games, even though there was a number of topics, but I can only rant and rave so much. Again, frustrating with the injuries. Joel Eriksson Ek being out, it's absolutely awful. It truly is. We'll probably be seeing Leo Ogren on the roster the rest of the season, which is fine. I just hope he becomes more productive. That'd be great. Minnesota Wild probably are going to make some type of move of some kind. Hopefully it's not any type of mortgaging the future type of thing where you get a little crazy trying to get rid of, where you end up offloading some prospects that may have a pretty good future. So that would be extremely frustrating if that were to take place. Oh, yes, it would. So we'll just have to wait and see how things go here. The trade deadline's not that far away. In fact, what is it, like March 7th? So it's coming up. This is February 27th already. So with that, yes, the James Shepard Memorial, I kind of wanted to give it to Johansson, but he had the 2 assists in that comeback. I don't know, maybe just the lack of playing at home. I don't know, or even Gustafsson. I guess it'll be a gentle one to Philip Gustafsson. He had a lousy game against Detroit. He only gave up 3 goals, but he faced 16 stinking shots. Like, come on, man, you can be better than that. So, gosh, it's trains, now it's cops. What? This is Golden Valley. This isn't Minneapolis. Why is it so busy? Jeez, too much going on around this place. So, anyhow, it is close to Minneapolis, so I suppose. So I suppose it's going to be somewhat busy around here. With that, enough of my babbling about that. We will now take a quick break and, get to the previews and the prospects and all of that good stuff. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. Time to look at the upcoming games. Not sure what I'm clicking on here, and I apologize. But first, we are going to jump right into DraftKings right here and right now. It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we are having some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's just that easy. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. In the upcoming Cognizant Classic Series, Joe Knapp is the favorite with a plus 700. Daniel Berger with a plus 800. Russell Hanley with a plus 1,000. So those are kind of what we're looking at here. Jesper Svensson plus 2,200. So those are upcoming possibilities here in the Cognizant Series coming up. So, yep, golf is getting started, which is wonderful to say the least as we continue to move forward. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for a problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly, on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age. Eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Thank you always, DraftKings. Really appreciate you in so many ways. So the Utah Hockey Yeti Club, yeah, because if they become the Utah Hockey Club, it looks like the mascot will be a Yeti. So that's kind of a indirect way of still becoming the Yeti without officially calling them the Yeti. Otherwise, you have the other options like the Mammoths, the Outlaws, and the, I forgot, that figures. Well, whatever they are. The good guys in town, the boys are back in town. No, I could probably find it if I scroll back on my profile, because I remember having a poll up there. Of course, I'm getting the infamous black screen where nothing's happening. Typical in this world, right? Yeah, people like to do... there it is. The Utah Hockey Club. Okay, yeah, Hockey Club, Mammoth, and Outlaws. Okay, yeah. Duh, it's just 3 teams. Or 3 names remaining. It's not 4. So, we'll see what happens. Whatever. Hard to believe that Hockey Club would still be a viable possibility, but I don't know. It's the world we live in, folks. Creativity has disappeared. You ever hear music on the radio? It all sounds the same. Sorry, I said it. Next, Utah Hockey Club, the Minnesota Wild. The recent history has not been all so great. Injured list. Oh boy, drum roll please. Joel Eriksson Ek, injured reserve, possibly 68 weeks with a broken foot or something like that, as of February 25th. Kirill the Thrill, out until God knows in March or so. And we'll continue. Utah Hockey Club, Robert Bortuzzo. They reported that on February 18th, Bortuzzo remains an injured reserve and won't return to the lineup when play resumes after the Four Nations face-off. Okay, and he's been out since January. Comparisons, the teams are fairly comparable here, sadly, because Utah's not a playoff team. Goals, the Wild are 20th, Utah's 21st. Goals against the Wild are 9th. Utah is 18th. Power play, the Wild are 23rd. Utah's 14th. They have pretty good goal scorers there. Penalty kill, Utah's 11th. The Wild are 30th. Penalty minutes, Utah's 29th. The Wild have stayed out of the box reasonably well at 13th. So that's always a good thing. The series, the Utah Hockey Club lead the all-time series since they became Utah anyway, 2-1. Minnesota won in a shootout to win the very first game ever between Minnesota and Utah, not Phoenix or Phoenix/Arizona/ the Winnipeg Jets, which, they were not the Winnipeg Jets anymore. When the Wild started, they had moved many years before, or a few years. What was it, mid-90s, the Jets left. Instead of coming to Minneapolis, of all places, to play in Target Center, they wound up in Phoenix, Arizona. Since then, Utah has won a game 2-1 on December 20th. And on January 23rd, shut out the Wild 4-0. Yuck. So more than a month away to this final game here, the rubber match. Hopefully Minnesota can win in Utah. I will predict a win since the Wild have been so great on the road. Utah is 2-3 or 3-2 in their last 5. The Wild are also 3-2 in our last 5. Utah has won 2 in a row versus Vancouver and Chicago, both at home, and they've been losing road games a bit. So interesting. They're kind of the opposite of us. And I think that's been a bit of a conversation where Utah's been a pretty good home team, and the Wild have been a pretty good road team. But it was like way more dramatic with the Ottawa Senators, who house Brady Tkachuk. The Wild will win this game 3-2. 3-2 win for the Minnesota Wild. Matt Boldy will score, and the Wild win 3-2 against the Utah Hockey Club. Go us. As for the leading scorers, Clayton Keller's already got 64 points. Wow, he's really emerging nicely. 21 goals, 43 assists. I can see Rossi doing that in the future. 64 points in 58 games. Logan Cooley, the former Gopher, still bitter about hitting the post instead of putting the Gophers up 3-0 in the national championship game versus Quinnipiac. Still bitter about that. Of course I am. 45 points, 16 goals, 29 assists. Second on the team, former Wild Wild prospect Jack McBain, 11 goals and only 6 assists for 17 points in 59 games. And the former Wild player Bukestad, who's been a factor against us, but not much else. 5 goals and 10 assists in 51 games. At least he's staying relatively healthy. Keller's really emerging, he's becoming a great player. He really is. Took a little while, but becoming great. Vimilka shut out the Wild. He has 1 shutout on the season, and it was against us. Congratulations. Next, the Minnesota Wild will play the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, yay. I'm so excited. It's already moved up to March, my bad. So, final game of the month. The Wild will play on back-to-back days. Final 2 days of the month. The Minnesota Wild will play against Utah and Colorado, hanging out in the Mountain Time Zone. Colorado Avalanche's injury report, Josh Manson didn't play against the Devils, okay. But he's been out since the 4th of Feb, okay. No other information there. Tucker Pullman, injured reserve since October. And Gabriel Landeskog has been out since September. Yikes. So, yeah, I remember he was going to be out for the year. So, yeah, Gabriel Landeskog. Almost forgot about him, right? You don't hear, but yeah, like not hearing about him at all season. It's a bummer. Colorado's 5th in goals, 20th in goals against, so still a bit of a gap there. Power play, their 16th, penalty kill 13th, penalty minutes 8th. The regular season, the Wild and the Avalanche are tied. The Avalanche slaughtered the Wild on January the 9th. Finally played their first game of the season against each other. Slaughtered Minnesota at home. And what happened when they went on the road, the Wild? They won. The Wild won on the road after being slaughtered at home just about 11 days before. 3-1 win in Colorado. That figures. This one will be in Colorado, so will the Wild win back-to-back games? I don't know. Colorado's been getting better and better as the year progresses. They're inconsistent. That's the thing. They're inconsistent. They're not like the Avalanche of old. They're not. They're inconsistent. Goaltending has improved, of course, after making the trades. Mackenzie Blackwood's been freaking awesome. 2.12 goals against average, 2 shutouts, save percentage of 92.2, 15-7 on La Saison. Nathan MacKinnon has 90 points. You thought it was impressive seeing Clayton Keller with 64. And you just wonder if Kaprizov didn't have nagging injuries this year, where he would be right now. Would he be at 80? Would he be at 90? Man, he was up there with McKinnon at the time before he started getting injuries. Mikko Rantanen wound up with and he's having a freaking awesome year. He's on the Carolina Hurricanes. Who knows? Maybe they'll finally break through. Cale Makar, yep, obviously on the team. McKinnon was on the Canadian team. Yay, we're happy for him. Makar, 66 points in 60 games. Capo Kakinen's on the Colorado Avalanche. Huh, cool. That's cool, but he gave up 4 goals, though, in one game. Capo Kakinen, that's cool. So maybe he could, is he going to do what Darcy Kemper once did years ago, win a Stanley Cup with as a starting goalie? Probably not. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. Colorado looks pretty good. They beat Edmonton 5-4. Oh, that was a while back. They beat New Jersey 5-1. That's very impressive. Losing to St. Louis and Nashville in back-to-back games to open up the Interesting to open up, like returning from the Four Nations Cup and all that. I can't pick the Wild to win back-to-back games. I can't. I mean, maybe I should, but I don't know. Casey Middlestead, real quick, yeah, about half a point a game, 10 goals, 23 assists in 60 games for 33 points. I don't know. Where do I go with this one? It's a tough call here. Tough call. How about the Wild do not win? Unfortunately, we're going to go with the final score: 4-2. Colorado beats the Wild. Most likely going to score for Minnesota is going to be Brock Faber. Brock Faber will score a goal against the Colorado Avalanche, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, but unfortunately the Wild don't win, though, is what I'm trying to say. As my mind's moving, I don't know, my mouth is moving faster than my brain. That's probably not a good thing. Sunday afternoon. Oh, never mind. Oh, please. Oh, boy. Well, I don't think the Wild win this one. Sunday afternoon, the Wild host Boston. The Wild host Boston on Sunday afternoon again on TNT. What does that sound like? It sounds like a loss. Home game, national television. I don't know. Love to see the Wild come out and win. Maybe Anthony Edwards would score 40 points or something if this was basketball, because he usually plays really well when there's national attention. But I don't know. The Wild played pretty good on ABC last time. Should I be optimistic here? Nah, I think the Wild are going to go 500 this week, because it's 4 games. Seattle's the upcoming one, and it's a road game, which I think that sounds a lot more appealing. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a complete wash. Trent Frederick. What is all this stuff? There's no update on him, apparently, whatever that means. He was hurt against the Maple Leafs on February 25th, and there's no update. All right. Charlie McAvoy, who played for the U.S., if I remember correctly, in the Four Nations Cup, injured reserve. Yep. So that's the other frustration going on about this Four Nations Cup. Lots of injuries. Some believe that Joel Eriksson Ek got injured in that tournament, as did both of the Chucks, I believe, especially not both of them, but Matthew for Florida, the defending Stanley Cup champions. And they're even talking to him, like Lou Nanny of all people, even talking that he might be out for the whole season. So it's pretty messed up. So that's the one thing. As great as that tournament was, the guys probably maybe went at it too much, a little bit, and there was injuries. I mean, that's sports, but geez, it seems like a bit much. McAvoy, injured reserve. Yes. Boston can ill afford that. Hampus Lindholm, fractured patella. Yikes. Way back, out for the season in November. Hampus Lindholm, out for the season way back in November. Boston shut the Wild out 3-0 in Boston back on February the 4th. I remember that. Ugh, that wasn't even that long ago. Was it Swayman? I think it was Swayman shut us out. Gosh, seems like yesterday, yet it was already February 4th. A lot of things have happened since February 4th. Let's just leave it at that, including that tournament, my fender bender, and all that crap. March the 2nd, opening the month here at home against Boston. The Bruins have lost 4 in a row. They look terrible. Okay, let's get on the positive train here. Minnesota Wild beat the Boston Bruins. Final score of 4-1. Wild are going to beat the Boston Bruins pretty good here. 4-1 victory for the Minnesota Wild. Multi-goal game for Matt Boldy. Multi-goal game. 2 goals, or I'll reserve the right for a multi-point game, but I'm going to say multi-goal if I want to go that direction. Multi-goal game for Matt Boldy at the end of the day. If he has a multi-point game, great, but multi-goal is my prediction. Upcoming is the Seattle Kraken, who things aren't cracking also great there. I always forget to look at the actual statistics, and I apologize. Yeah, Swayman's at 3 goals a game. He does have a few shutouts, 3 shutouts. So Boston's been kind of sink or swim. They have 6 shutouts on the season, yet their goals against average is pretty crappy. They're 24th in the league. 23rd in goals. No, 29th in the power play, 25th in the penalty kill. They're the worst team in the league at staying out of the box at 32nd. So the Wild will beat the undisciplined Boston Bruins. They're going to get revenge for that 3-0 shutout by Jeremy Swayman. Good for him, right? Pasternak with 72 points in 59 games. Brad Marchand, 47 points in 59 games. He must be getting up there in years by now. Charlie Coyle, only 20 points in 59 games. Sounds oh so familiar, unfortunately. So that's frustrating for the Bruins, I'm sure. Dang it. What am I clicking on? I apologize. The Seattle Kraken. We're going to get Kraken in Seattle, and we're going to get those pistachios ready to go too. We're going to get Kraken with wonderful pistachios. That'd be a great sponsor. I used to say that. Yanni Gord, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. January 1st, he's been out for a long-term injury reserve, and that's all the information they are going to offer. The Kraken, let's get to going and get Kraken here. I know I'm being silly. The Kraken, yeah, and Boston, by the way, 6th place in the Metropolitan Division. They're probably not making the playoffs this year. 3 games above 500, but not making the playoffs, most likely. Seattle is 25-31-4, and not looking too hot. They have lost 2 in a row to Tampa, 4-1, and getting roasted by the St. Louis Blues, 7-2. Just who are the Blues there? It's Seattle. Oof. The season series, the Kraken lead the season series. How annoying. Going all the way back to the beginning of the season, October 12th. We haven't played since October 12th. Can you imagine the gap there? October 12th all the way up to March 4th, and then wrap up the season series on March 19th. So it's a 3-game season series with our conference, our brand new conference rival, not division rival, of Seattle. Semi-brand new now. This is what, their 3rd year already, I think. So good for them. The logo's okay. It's okay. The name's better than the logo, but I've seen worse logos than that. It's just, I don't know, the color scheme. It's like, it's been there and done that. They look like the Seattle Mariners. Mariners don't.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
The name is cool, but the color scheme is adequate. Philip Grubauer has been a huge bust ever since leaving the Colorado Avalanche. What is he giving up? Almost 4 goals a game. 5-15. That's pathetic. Ugh. Save percentage of 86. Like, what's up with that garbage? Joey Decord is the MVP, pretty much, of the Seattle Kraken. In fact, I'd say he is. 20-15 with a 2.55 goals against average, only 1 shutout, been ultra consistent. It's the best thing they got there, no doubt. 15th in goals. I don't know how that's possible. 27th in goals against, because everybody other than Decord stinks. Penalty kills 22nd, power plays 25th. Penalty minutes 4th. They're good about discipline in Seattle, but that's about it for the most part. Jared McCann is leading the club with 43 points, 15 goals also. But the Jaden Schwartz has the most goals officially for the former St. Louis Blue there for the Kraken. 19 goals, 18 assists, 37 points for him. Brandon Montour, the former Florida Panther who was first last year and eventually came back and helped them get the job done. They have Capo Caco, don't they? Huh. But he's been pretty much a bust. Unfortunately, Jordan Eberle's only played in 20 games. Oof. So, injuries have definitely plagued this club. Man, yeah, that's Capo Caco. Number 2 pick overall by the Rangers. It's now in Seattle. Yep, I remember now. He's been there for a while, too. It was just, I don't know. Man, a number 2 overall pick, but he's just kind of didn't work out so great. 27 games for Seattle, 19 points. I mean, I've seen worse. Seen a lot worse. Like, time with the Rangers for the most part. Yeah. He looked like he was emerging a few years ago. 22-23 at 40 points, half a point, but ever since then, it's been, I don't know. It's been closer to our fourth line center kind of level at the end of the day. So it's definitely frustrating for him, I'm sure, to say the least. As I continue here, apologize. I'm kind of just, Kuznetsov. My mind is blanking. Yeah, not quite that bad, though. Only 7 points in 55 games. And that's after having a little surge. That's funny again. So let's look at the prospects now. Pardon me. Let's look at what we have for prospects. Jimmy Clark, massive week. We'll get to Iowa first, though. Jesper Wallstedt, how about that? Good to see Jesper Wallstedt having a pretty solid week and a couple of wins. One of them was because of good goal support. The other, just kind of a solid game. What did he give up? Only like a goal in one of these recent games. Getting the GGA down to 3.62, which still stinks. 8-11 now is Jesper Wallstedt. Going from 6-11 to 8-11. Okay, a couple wins in a row. Getting And a save percentage up to 88 from 86. So, baby steps forward, baby steps. Anything helps. I know people are frustrated. I am too. You expect more. And I was talking about in the last episode 2 weeks ago, Iowa just feels toxic. And, well, hopefully they can come out of that real soon. Graham Clark, a pretty strong week as well. He's had multi-point games. 24 points in 44 games. Nothing special, but he's certainly moved up the charts here in Iowa for the most part. It's been good. Spotcheck has been factoring a little bit. Still a minus 14. Even Graham Clark, part of me, is a minus 11. Yeesh. But Spotcheck down to 14. Okay, 23 points in 52 games. I thought he had more than 4 goals. But who knows? Maybe one of them was turned into an assist. Hunter Hate's been playing extremely strong as well for the most part. Still a minus 8, but he's only 20 years of age. He's the leading scorer of the super young guys. It would be Liam Ogren, but he's on Minnesota. Hunter Haight with 29 points in 49 games, 17 of them goals, which leads the team. Again, Liam Ogren led the team in goals when he was called up by Minnesota. Carson Lambos is now at 11 points, minus 2, which is pretty respectable for a 21-year-old playing on a team in Iowa that's not been good. So, minus 2. Ryan O'Rourke's only a minus 6, which is okay. And he's had a couple of points in the last show as well. Yeah, now at 3 goals on the season, scored most recently, so good for him. Juracek only 5 assists, and again, that's one of the top prospects in the system after that big trade. 20 years of age, so he has time to continue to get better. But only 5 points in 25 games, minus 4. I've seen worse, but I've sure as heck seen better, to say the least. Toporowski plus 8. It's awesome. And he factored yesterday as well. 7 goals, 12 assists. Kanan Bankier, 21 points in 50 games, and he's a minus 16, which is worst on the team, unfortunately. So good news to hear about Wallstedt. A couple of good games in a row. Hopefully those are something he can build upon, because he needs it, dang it. And I'm not trying to be rude or sarcastic. He needs it, dang it. And he'll tell you the same thing, believe me. Ryan Healy for Harvard, and now at 9 points on the year, minus 6, which is way better than minus 26. But the number is certainly way the heck down. He's played 2 less games than last year and has 13 less points. So it's a big drop-off for the right shot defenseman for Harvard. Bummer, man. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong person here. Reger Lorenz from Denver, of course, another huge drop. He's at about half the points as he had last year. The plus-minus has improved, but still nowhere near last season. He was a plus 21 last year. He's a 9 right now. This is a right wing, by the way, not a defenseman. 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points in 32 games for the national contending Denver Pioneers. Danila Yurov. Yep. Well, 46 games, 25 points. I mean, what more is there to say? Again, you know what they do over there. So I've mentioned this every show, but yeah, when a guy's on the verge of leaving, they drop their minutes down like, screw you, we don't care. You're on your way out anyway. So it's kind of mean. Jimmy Clark with a 4-point week last weekend against the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they go for a sweep of the Buckeyes. 19 points now in 33 games, 14 assists, going from 10 to 14. Nice jump there. No goals, but 4 assists for Jimmy Clark, the 7th-round pick for Minnesota in 2023. Not numbers that really jump out at you, but a great weekend, no doubt, and definitely a big step forward from last year. Plus 5 last year, plus 20 this year, and he's already got 8 more points in 6 less games. So nice to see. Kalen Parker, Calgary Hitman, 21 points. He is a right shot defenseman, 20 years of age. Again, plus 38 for the Calgary Hitman in 37 games. Damn, he's playing absolutely awesome. It's crazy. So last year, the Moose Jaw Warriors won it all with him there. And then this year was a frustrating season, and they moved on from him to the Calgary Hitmen. And he's a plus 38 for them. So 21 points in 37 games. 7 of those are goals. Aaron Pionk with 22 points coming out of Hermantown. 22 points for the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. Kind of a baby step from last year, but a step nonetheless. Minus 2 versus minus 9, and 2 more points in 7 less games. So it's, yeah, and a few less penalty minutes as well. So looking better. Riley Heights now at 71 points in 50 games, 26 goals, 45 assists for someone we saw as an elite prospect. Still could see that. Kampalainen for the Pelicans in SM Liga there in Finland. 13 points in 42 games. And yeah, Finland, there's just not a lot of prolific scoring there. Charlie Stramel, 32 games, 25 points again. Good. Nice, huge prospect, or huge, progress from last year. Plus 13 on the season for Michigan. He was a minus both years in Wisconsin. Now his junior year in college hockey. And yeah, definitely a nice step forward. A lot of people say, yeah, he's definitely not a top 6 in the National Hockey League. He's a bottom 6. Of course, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Could be a nice, strong third-line center in the National Hockey League. Maybe fourth, but maybe a pretty good third-liner, too. But definitely showing wonderful progress. Stevie Lescovar, 3 points in 23 games, and he's a 2. He's a plus 2 for the Mississauga Steelheads. Tasty fish there. The Steelheads, yep. The saltwater rainbow trout is what that is. Woodsky, the goaltender. Red Deer Rebels, 3.41 goals against average. A little bit, kind of like Wallstead, a little bit better. Almost 90 now in the save percentage at 89.5. A little bit of progress, kind of like Wally down in our Wallstead in Iowa. So Yanni, yep, well, he's been kind of moving around in Finland there. Ups and downs, and what has he got, like 10 points in the AHL affiliate, basically, there. Aaron Kiviharo has been bouncing around a bit, but at the same time been wonderful, generally speaking. At the professional level, 15 points in 46 games. Not wonderful, but good. Promising is what I'm trying to say, Aaron Kiviharo. Ryder Ritchie, who's had multiple prospects of the week now for MNW prospects. Go MNW prospects or MNW Young Guns. Yep. Ryder Ritchie's had a couple of strong weeks. I believe he got it again this week, didn't he? I think it's been two awards for Prospect of the Week this year. So nice to see. I know Woodsky had a nice week as well. So like I was just talking about Ritchie, some steps forward from last year, and he's a plus 12 versus a minus 1. That's huge. What does he have? 7 more points than last year in 2 less games. So it's progress. It's progress. It's not huge, but it's progress. And then Steve William, of course, last but far from least, number 1 prospect in the Minnesota Wild system. 29 games for the Denver Pioneers, 7 goals, 28 assists, 35 points, plus 14. Again, way down from last year's plus 33 with the national champions. But at the same time, Steve Williams, probably a plug and play to the National Hockey League, just like a guy who might be a pairing. Or you want them on opposite pairs. One on the top pair, one on the second pair. Both be in the top 4 and be prolific, valuable pieces one way or another for the Minnesota Wild for many, 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 many years to come. With that said, we'll take a quick break and return for fan interaction after this. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction segment, and I appreciate you guys so much. Again, Derek Felska coming in from the Crease and Assist, at Crease and Assist, the Crease Assist podcast. Always a awesome show. Huge supporter of this show as well. Huge supporter of that one. Yep, I'm a huge supporter of that one. That's what I'm trying to say, and he's a huge supporter of this one. Really appreciate you, Derek. Yep, we've been interacting for about 5 years now. Coming up here, and yeah, we're going to be almost in that spring break time again. Yeah, so yeah, we might be hearing our voices on the same show here coming up. We'll see how things go. I'm just kind of throwing that out there because that tends to be a tradition during that spring break week. We'll see what happens though. Who knows? If he's busy, he's busy. That's how it goes. Or if I have weird stuff coming up, you never know. So hashtag BTWMN is a way to keep things organized, and all I do is type that in and press latest, and then everything's in chronological order. Rather than reading something from February 23, it'll be February 25, which is better, right? Because that can happen if you don't organize it. Derek will lead things off here. The lightning round hath returned. And of course, got to mention Teresa and Kalisha, which are also a huge part of the Creases podcast. Don't want to rudely leave them out. So they do a good job. Awesome show, guys. I mean, really, all three of you do an amazing job. And of course, once in a while, one of them is out for whatever reason, busy or not feeling well, which is completely understandable. You just have weird, crazy Iron Men like me that just keep going. And so the Wild beat the Ottawa Senators. I'm just kidding. That's kind of what it felt like the last, like about a month ago. Wild beat the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, sure we did. Anyhow, Derek leads things off. Sorry. If you were Travis Dermott, what would you think of Ryan Hartman right now? Yeah, it's complete crap. Yep, because Travis Dermott was put on waivers. Yes, I rudely didn't mention that. Yeah, I think screw that guy, basically. So definitely put him in a tough spot because of the situation there. Yeah, so no, I think very selfish, very stupid move. And if I ever see you on the other side of the rink, I wouldn't mind smashing you into the wall or something worse coming up. So yes, just selfish, stupid, ignoramus. That's how I look at Ryan Hartman, and just an average player. Average. Joey can't say that. Unfollow. Okay, fine. If you hate me so much out there, anybody out there that hates me so much for not liking Ryan Hartman, it's up to you. I'm spicy today. Spicy V8. Definitely in a spicy mood. You could tell. You could probably tell. Next, Joel Eriksson Ek was either hurt in practice or not, depending on which report you read. Yeah, partially. Yeah, could have been the Four Nations. Do you think his participation in the Four Nations face-off is somewhat to blame for getting hurt so soon after getting back from that event? Possibly, though it may have been a freak injury. If it was like one of those blocked shots off the foot type of thing, a la Zach Parise / Ek, I believe was it 2 years ago. If that's what it was, then probably not, unless that injury took place in the, like maybe it was like, if it first happened in kind of in the tournament, and then it kind of got, worse, maybe like blocking the same spot again, that type of thing. So, but unfortunately, the Four Nations face-off, it just reeks of all kinds of crap anyway, one way or another, all kinds of injuries. It was a great tournament, but man, it sure came at a cost, didn't it? And of course, more political nonsense between the two countries, one way or another. So, and I don't know, again, it ended up in the same frustration, losing in a close game to the same stupid team over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, you're gonna not like them very much, and I feel that way. As many of you may disagree because of political reasons. Anyhow, next, with Kirill Kaprizov expected to be out longer than expected, should that give the Minnesota Wild reason to have some caution on money and length of term offered to him this summer? If so, what would you offer if you were GM Bill Guerin? Just kind of throwing out numbers, darts on the wall. You might think I'm warped or ignorant. 8 years, $12 million per. That probably sounds like, obviously it's still a lot, but I mean, you do want to keep him. I don't think I'd cut it down to like 8 and 9 type of thing. I don't think we can, sadly. So that's kind of how that kind of goes. Yeah, that's kind of right. Well, isn't he already making 9, right? So I would say 8 years, $12 million if possible. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If we're talking 15, 16, I don't know. Because I know that conversation has been brought up before, up to like 15 million per season, 14, 15. Maybe you can open up with something along those lines and see where things go. It'd be nice if we could get him to that figure, maybe 13, I guess. I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm leaning in a lot of ways. Again, maybe I'm just ignorant and would end up losing the guy. Who knows? But probably not. Yep. So we'll see how that all turns out. It's kind of scary, but I have a feeling he's going to stick around. I have a feeling he is. I just hope so. I don't think he's Gaborik-like. Next, with the Wild now without Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov for possibly the next month or so, should that make the Minnesota Wild consider being sellers at the trade deadline next week, or do you think that it will prompt a desperation deal? Boy, with Bill Guerin, it could go either way. I hope they don't make a desperation deal. Though there are a bunch of prospects in our system that I'm not as high on as I was not that long ago. The Carson Lamboses and such. I don't think Lambos ever plays for the Wild. I think he gets traded at some point, one way or another. That's just kind of throwing a name out there, but I've kind of felt that for a while, like a long time. Who knows, even Charlie Stramel might get traded, but I kind of hope not now. I think he'd be a nice fit for Minnesota in the future. I don't think the Wild are giving up Ogren, Urhoff, and sure as bleep not Steve William, anybody like that. But you never know. I'm in certainly in no rush to trade most of these prospects. The majority of them, I'm in no rush to do so. They probably can't afford to trade away Jesper Wallstedt because you have nothing behind him. Like nothing. Like Hunter Jones obviously is gone already. Though I suppose you do have... I don't even want to go there, but possibly the other guy in Iowa there. He's not bad, but he's not jumping out at me either. Like he's got some spectacular future. What has he got? 89 save percentage. He's 23. So yeah, I mean you never know the Slovakian. So you never know. Samuel Hilov, I'm probably saying it wrong. About 99% chance I am. But yeah, he's at 3 goals a game and like 89 save percentage. This is Iowa, folks. So. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling here at this point. You know, I even put there's this Derek put up a poll. For some reason, I clicked on be a buyer. I don't know. So far, the leader, yes, this is a spoiler alert leading into the episode. Do Nothing Not Worth It is winning right now. Obviously, things can change, and looks like he put it up pretty recently, so I'm guessing there's going to be a ton more votes between now and then. Speaking of that, Purple Mafia's got a few polls out already. At Purple Mafia Show has polls out because State of the Vikings is going to probably be recorded and released this weekend coming up. It needs to get done. This is usually about that time. So your MVP, biggest disappointment and biggest surprise for the Minnesota Vikings in 2024, there are polls on there. If you're interested, check that out. At Purple Mafia Show. So got to plug that, don't I? It's my show, dang it. So got to be able to plug that a little bit. Purple Mafia needs a little love right now, I think. As football gets pretty quiet this time of year for a couple minutes. Well, the combine's already starting, but I'm not big into necessarily looking at that. I like the draft, but I'm not going to sit and religiously watch prospects run, 40-yard dashes or whatever. I just can't do that. I can't do that. Like, we're happy for them, Sorry, I'm babbling here. Desperate type of deal. I think there is going to be something. I do think there is going to be a trade. I'm guessing it's going to be something reasonable, though. It's going to be kind of a smaller end, but it's going to be a helpful, warm body type of thing. And yes, I'm guessing the Wild are going to...
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Possibly move a prospect, but not one of the important ones. It could be a Lambos type, but I'm not even sure. It is really hard to say. But there probably is going to be a trade of some sort. Most likely because of that situation, probably. I don't think it's going to be a crazy, desperate type of thing, but there will be something. Next one. So instead of retro games this time, you're going into the Kardashians. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. Kardashians. What NHL team would... what NHL team would think best fits the Kardashians? Maybe the Rangers. I think they're all that, and then they're not. You know what I mean? Kind of like that type of thing. The New York Rangers, everybody's like they're the greatest thing ever, and then they're simply not. That's pretty much how I see the Kardashians. Overrated. Or even Boston right now as well. What happened to the Boston Bruins? They've fallen off the face of the earth. But I'd say the Rangers because they, kind of always getting, they're always on the NHL Network and all of that. It's probably them, New York Rangers. Yeah, for that reason. And a combination of always being, center of attention but not doing anything. No. Kardashians are great. Yeah, sure they are. Next, and I guess this is the final one for the questions from Derek Belska. Questions, comments, and all that. Should NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman reduce Ryan Hartman's 10-game suspension to 8 games like he did? Do you buy the not incremental discipline logic of the decision or not? No and no. I think it should have just stood where it was. I think he earned that suspension, and yeah, no and no. I think he deserved it. I know partially I'm a little biased, and I'm just not a fan at all, but it's too many times, damn it. Too many times. Like Anthony Edwards right now leading the NBA in technical fouls, there's a reason for it. He complains too much. And it's funny how, like, Karl Anthony Towns is whining. I know, this is like a Timberwolves explosion preview in a way. Whining was such an annoyance for Timberwolves fans and just in general for probably NBA refs. And then Anthony Edwards follows in kind after Karl Anthony Towns is traded. Even though Anthony Edwards showed a lot of that nonsense last year, he was already starting up. Now it's like worse. It's stupid. So it's kind of like a similar thing. Like you build your reputation, you got to do what you can to fix it, not add to it. And Hartman added to it. So I think he deserves the 10-game suspension. I think reducing it was kind of silly. It's too much, dang it. Like you rob a bank like 3 or 4 times, life. You're not getting out at this time, okay, dude? Just sit there. Or like 30 years or something, instead of like, we'll let him out we'll let him out in 6 months. He'll be a good boy. Yeah, right. Just take a seat, young man. That type of thing. So, yeah. That's my opinions there. Jay Butchie playing the batting 8th this time. Looks like Steve Miller is going to be the Greg Gagne this time, batting 9th. So Jay Butchie here saying the Wild can't catch a break on the injury bug. Do you think this will break them if anyone else goes out? Yes, depending on who it is, but yes. It's gotten so ridiculous. It has, and that's probably why they're going to make some type of a trade, probably. But I am kind of agreeing now with the poll where they're saying do nothing, it's not worth it. I'm starting to agree with that. I put buyer just because I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. But of course, you're asking for my opinion, not for what I think the Wild are going to do. In there, yeah. I mean, when it comes to the poll, but also, do I think this will break them if anyone else goes out? Yeah, I think so. It's getting to be too much. They've overachieved. They've had some wonderful games, a nice comeback and everything. But again, depending on who it is and such, but like somebody significant goes out, I think they're toast at that point. They might still make the playoffs, but it's like get the brooms out, that kind of thing. It could be a sacrificial lamb type of thing, or some miracle playoff run because everybody gets healthy at the right time at the last second, which wouldn't be the first time that's happened, legal or illegal, or like real or false in the National Hockey League. Nudge, nudge. Interesting. Stephen Miller, that's an interesting thing here. Batting 9th here, like Greg Gagne. The Wild are amazingly still 3rd in the West with neither K nor consistent depth scoring. I'm guessing, yeah, I think he means PK, yep. Where will the Wild likely end the season? Perhaps do a poll on that question. Yeah, I think I should. Or maybe, or did Derek already maybe beat me to it? And then Johan says still 7th in the whole NHL, crazy with the injuries. Steve Miller says the Central is tight. They could easily slide into missing the playoffs. We'll find out soon. And then Johan says they could, but they shouldn't. Yeah, so as long as like what Jay Bushy says doesn't happen, like he says like one more injury, like yet another significant injury type of thing, then maybe they could slide, but they could, but they shouldn't. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like if there isn't another injury, they probably shouldn't slide out. I think they're still playoff bound for sure. If these main pieces stay healthy, the main current healthy main pieces stay healthy, I think they'll do it. Yeah, it's a good idea. Shoot, wish I put it up. I wish I put it up yesterday when you posted that. So I apologize. Doggone it, I didn't see it on time. All right, I saw it, but I didn't read it on time. Stupid Joey. So unfortunately, but I'll still put the poll up because it could definitely go into next week's show. Probably a nice way to lead off the fan interaction next week. I remember here. I don't forget. So thanks, Steve. That's a good one. Yeah, Brand Steve. At Brand Steve. Thank you guys so much for the conversation. Obviously, a huge shout out to the Creases podcast. M&W Young Guns, M&W Prospects, huge, unbelievable. Twitter, Facebook, all that. They do an amazing job. Pavel Bonnet, Justin Baki, amazing guys. We have that Prospect of the Week. I am a part of it, but I'm kind of, I'm just kind of like helpful and opinions and obviously help spread the word about the website and the Twitter and all that. The guys do an amazing job, though, keeping up with the prospects and always that hope that there's going to be more help along the way. So that's what we're definitely hoping for with some of these fun prospects we've kept up with over the years. It was a blast keeping up with Kaprizov as long as we did, and to finally see him come to the NHL. That was really fun, and it becoming what he is. So outside of the injuries anyway, right? So with that, shout outs to Minnesota Wild Global, Scott Cavendish, David and Chance Kostick, David Abraham, Michael Fick, Chad Walski, Kathy Main. Great people on that page. Huge respect there. Patrick Turner, Minnesota Wild Nation. Minnesota Wild Nation, also a Florida guy. He's from Florida. And again, always congratulating him on the Florida Panthers. But unfortunate for Matthews Tkachuk during that tournament. So we'll see how that thing turns out. With that, hope you all have a wonderful week. We'll be back here on Brave the Wild next week, where hopefully things are heading in a good direction and there's less injuries.